Hi, this is Sam and welcome to Logic. Since we've been talking about intonation a lot lately over here, I think it's time to apply it to question tags. But first, we're going to analyze the grammar behind it. I assume most of you are already familiar with this topic, so after a first quick glance at the basics, we'll study the more advanced cases that don't tend to be taught in school. As a quick rule that we will expand on later on, question tags are used to either ask a real question or to ask for confirmation if you already know the answer. The way you construct them is by taking the verb and transforming it into its opposite. So if you have an affirmative verb, you want it in its negative form. And after that verb, you put the subject. So she is English becomes isn't she? They can sing becomes can't they? You can also do it the other way around, from negative to affirmative. He isn't happy, is he? They won't help us, will they? This is what happens with strong verbs, but what happens with weak verbs, and I talk about the difference between strong and weak verbs over here, is that they need an auxiliary. So she looks happy needs its auxiliary do or does to turn into its negative form. So she looks happy, doesn't she? We invited her, didn't we? You don't eat gluten, do you? Negative and limiting adverbs require an affirmative tag. Although the verb listen in the sentence you never listen is affirmative, the adverb never makes it negative. So the question tag is do you, not don't you. He hardly works at all, does he? As I explain in this video about gender, the indefinite pronouns someone, anyone, no one, or somebody, anybody, nobody are represented by the pronoun they, followed by a plural verb. So someone is calling you has its question tag as aren't they, because they is the pronoun that represents someone and aren't is the negative form of the now plural verb to be. No one came yesterday, did they? In this case, did needs to be affirmative because no one is negative. Whereas something, anything, nothing are represented by the pronoun it. Something has gone wrong, hasn't it? Negative tags are usually contracted. You were at home, weren't you? Full forms are possible and they exist, but they're only ever used in very formal contexts. So this specific sentence, I can picture it being used in its full form, maybe in court, when the lawyer asks, you were at home, were you not? The question tag for I am is aren't I? I'm late, aren't I? But it goes back to a normal structure in every other case. I am not late, am I? I was late, wasn't I? The word there works as a subject. There is nothing we can do. Is there? There are a lot of mistakes here, aren't there? In the sentence, I think they've left, haven't they? We don't say, I think they've left, don't I? Because here I'm not questioning whether I think something or not, because I know what I think. Here I'm questioning or asking for confirmation about whether they've left or not. So basically, you can imagine that the construction I think is not even there. You can simply say they've left, haven't they? But if you say I don't think he's here, you can't just ignore I don't think, because the negative of don't makes the whole sentence negative, meaning that the question tag is he. I assume works exactly the same as I think. The construction I don't suppose is used to make polite requests or to add more emphasis to the fact that you're asking for confirmation of something where you already know the answer will be no. If I say, I don't suppose you know how to find him, do you? Here I basically already know that you don't know how to find him, and I'm just asking for extra confirmation. And just like I don't think, that negative don't affects the rest of the sentence, so the question tag needs to be affirmative. A polite request could be, I don't suppose you could help me with that, could you? However, when think is the verb of any subject apart from I, we go back to tagging the first subject. So we say, you think he's guilty, don't you? We don't say, you think he's guilty, isn't he? Because here I am questioning what you think. So I do want to know whether you think he's guilty or not. With imperatives, we use question tags not to ask a question, but to strengthen the command. Primarily, we use won't you, will you, would you. Can and could can be used, but I don't think we ever do use them. So we say, help me out, won't you? Open the door, will you? Pass me the remote, would you? Can't can be used to convey impatience. So you can say, turn off the phone, can't you? With negative imperatives, and specifically with don't be, we mainly use will you. Don't be late, will you? The question tag for let's, which is the imperative of the first person plural, we, is shall we, and it's used to make a suggestion or to strengthen the suggestion of the imperative. Let's go, shall we? Let's talk about it another time, shall we? And the same goes for the negative. Let's not argue here, shall we? Double positives with a rising intonation exist, and they used to convey extra surprise, excitement, and interest regarding a piece of news that you've just learned or heard. So you can say, oh my God, you are engaged, are you? So here you have, you are engaged, are you? And you use a double positive because you are very positively surprised. It can also be used to convey a little bit of bitchiness. If I say, you think you can win, do you? Here I'm basically implying that you won't win or that you are overestimating yourself. What's the difference with a normal question tag? You think you can win, don't you? Now here I'm asking a genuine question, so I really want to know if you believe in yourself, or just like the double positive, it can be used sarcastically. I'll followed by shall I is used to make an offer. I'll call the client later on, shall I? It's now time to talk about intonation, and let's look at this sentence. If I ask the question tag with a rising intonation, that's a genuine question. The business call is tomorrow, isn't it? The business call is tomorrow, isn't it? If I use a falling intonation, the business call is tomorrow, isn't it? The business call is tomorrow, isn't it? The business call is tomorrow, isn't it? Here I have two scenarios, I would say. In the first one, I'm asking for confirmation of something that I already know the answer to. I basically already know that the business call is tomorrow, but I'm just double checking. But also, I could be just talking to myself, and I do know that the business call is tomorrow, and I'm just saying this to myself to add a bit of emphasis to the fact that maybe I am frustrated about it, or maybe I've just remembered that the business call is tomorrow, so I need to get all my work done so I can talk about it during the call. He isn't sick, is he? He isn't sick, is he? He isn't sick, is he? Here I'm genuinely asking a question. But if I say, he isn't sick, is he? He isn't sick, is he? He isn't sick, is he? Here I basically know that he's not sick, even though he called in sick at work, and I just know that it's an excuse, basically. That's it for today. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel down below. And do let me know in the comments if you have any question regarding the grammar or intonation of question tags. And in the meantime, I will see you on Tuesday with another explanation video.